Welcome to today's Explainer. We are taking a really cinematic journey into the life of an absolute titan. You know, behind the endless stacks of cash, the relentless chaos of Wall Street, and that famously smiling billionaire we see in all the documentary clips, there is a man who completely defied the odds. Today, we're unpacking the untold story of Warren Buffett. Now, a lot of people think that building massive generational wealth is just about, being in the right place at the right time or hitting some incredibly lucky jackpot. But today, we're going to prove that one man built a literal empire starting with almost absolutely nothing. It wasn't luck. It was a rock-solid system. Okay, let's dive right into this. What if one simple investment could change your entire life forever? I mean, it sounds like a total exaggeration, right? Like something straight out of a flashy Hollywood script. But as we track this financial hero's journey, you are going to see exactly how a few dollars dropped into a glass jar actually transformed into a reality that most of us can barely even comprehend. We are setting the stakes super high right out of the gate here because the numbers we're about to deal with are, quite frankly, astronomical. $150 billion. That is the staggering reality of his fortune today. To put that into perspective, we're talking fleets of private jets, sprawling luxury estates, literally the absolute peak of the billionaire lifestyle. But we have to contrast this massive mountain of wealth with where the story actually began. Because to really understand the 150 billion, you absolutely have to understand the zero. You have to understand the initial struggle. If you picture the greedy black and white footage of America back on August 30, 1930, in Omaha, Nebraska, you'll see what I mean. Empty streets, massive unemployment. This was his starting point, his ordinary world. Warren Buffett was born into a thoroughly ordinary family right in the middle of the Great Depression, which was hands down one of the most brutal economic periods in history. Money wasn't just tight, it was incredibly scarce. Survival was the only thing on anyone's mind. But even in this environment, surrounded by all that economic despair, a young Warren saw money entirely differently than anyone else around him. Think about this. At just 6 years old, when most kids are quite literally just figuring out how to tie their shoes, he is out there hustling, selling chewing gum door to door, and every single small sale was a lesson for him. Pretty soon he upgrades, selling Coca-Cola bottles for a profit, tracking every single penny he earns in this little notebook. While the other kids are out blowing their nickels on candy, Warren is saving. He's already investing. By age 13, he's operating a Sunrise newspaper delivery route. He is out there pedaling his bike in the pitch dark while the rest of the world is still fast asleep. His savings are growing faster and faster every single month. This relentless early hustle, it completely set the foundation for the whole shebang. But hey, let's slow things down for a second. Actually, scratch that, let's hit the brakes entirely. Because it was definitely not a straight line to the top. At just 11 years old, taking all those painstakingly saved pennies, Warren bought his very first stock, and almost immediately, the price dropped. I mean, just imagine being an 11-year-old kid watching your hard-earned money just vanish into thin air. He nearly panicked. And honestly, who wouldn't? This is a massive micro lesson for us today. You know that terrible feeling of dread in the pit of your stomach when a chart turns red? It is the exact same emotional trial and fear that every single everyday investor faces when the market turns against them. Warren Buffett wasn't immune to it at all. He felt that exact same raw human panic. Eventually, though, the stock price recovered. And what did young Warren do? He breathed a huge sigh of relief, and he sold it. He just got out. But right after he sold early, the price didn't just go up a little bit. It absolutely skyrocketed. He completely missed out on these massive gains, all because he let short-term panic and the simple relief of breaking even dictate his actions. The crucial point is that this one mistake changed his life forever. He learned the true power of patience. That really painful realization that he actually had the right asset, but just the completely wrong timeline, it fueled a lifelong obsession. Hours turned into days, and days turned into years sitting in the library. He became completely obsessed with reading every single financial book he could possibly get his hands on, just desperately searching for a framework to understand the market. And that intense search led him right here to Columbia University. This is where the story totally shifts gears, because it's here that Warren met Benjamin Graham. And Benjamin Graham wasn't just some college professor. He was the ultimate mentor. He was about to hand Warren Buffett the ultimate weapon for building immense wealth, giving him the exact precise tools he needed to navigate the absolute chaos of the stock market. That weapon? It was value investing. This really profound financial philosophy pioneered by Graham completely transformed Warren's thinking. Instead of looking at stocks as just these crazy moving lines on a chart that you panic over, Graham taught him to look at the actual underlying business. This mentor completely shifted Warren's entire paradigm from being just a stock speculator to becoming a true business valuator. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what Graham's philosophy boiled down to. Just two elegantly simple steps. Step 1, buy great businesses. Step 2, at reasonable prices. That's literally it. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But executing this with ironclad discipline, filtering out all the market noise, ignoring the panics, and just zeroing in on these two steps is exactly the philosophy that would eventually make him one of the richest people on earth. Armed with this incredible new weapon, Warren returned to the business world. And then came Berkshire Hathaway. Believe it or not, it actually started as just a struggling textile company, a dying business in a really tough industry. But Warren took control, and using Graham's value investing principles, he transformed that single, struggling mill into an absolute, unstoppable investment empire. Welcome to the Empire Portfolio. We're talking Coca-Cola, Apple, American Express, and so many others. These mega brands didn't magically appear in his portfolio overnight. He acquired them by steadily applying his two-step philosophy over decades: buy great businesses at reasonable prices. His fortune just continued to grow, not through flashy overnight trades, but through relentless, steady, incredibly patient execution. Now, what's really fascinating about all of this is the question it ultimately leaves us with. How will you think differently to build your own legendary fortune? Because as we've seen from his incredible journey out of Omaha, his biggest lesson wasn't really about getting rich. It was about thinking differently. It was about having patience when everyone else is panicking, and seeing immense value where others just see a dying textile mill. Let that sink in for a moment and let it completely change the way you view your own investments.